Jeff, he is a professor of political economy at a university in Rome, Tor Vergata, and he is a bit of a Eurosceptic, but he's not someone who is going to rush for the exit when it comes to the Eurozone itself. He's written in the past about the need to have a debate, both in Italy and Europe, about the euro. He said that Mr. Draghi's idea that the euro is irreversible is not particularly reasonable, and that there should be conversations about the limitations of monetary policy across Europe. But in terms of Savona's plan B, as it was, to secretly try and exit the Eurozone through the back door, that's not something he's seemingly keen on. The irony, of course, is that Paolo Savona, as a very noted Eurosceptic, is now going to end up as Minister for European Affairs. He will be counterbalanced by another man who once held that portfolio, was also an assistant to Mario Monti, and Enzo Moravera Milanese is his name. He's now going to be the foreign minister. He's very pro-European. So you're going to have this kind of balancing act in this new cabinet there in Italy in terms of the relationship with Europe, which I think is going to be something we'll have to watch quite closely.
Well, I mean, we have stability, Nick. This must be time for you to re-enter BTP positions, one imagines, because we've now resolved the political crisis.
Well, we have an element of stability, I think. So what we've taken away is this idea of Italy leaving the Eurozone. I mean, that is clearly a massive implication for markets. But of course, the real thing for the bond investor to watch now is the spending plans, because there is likely to be a fair bit of fiscal slippage in Italy in terms of what the populist coalition want to do. So that will have to be factored into that BTP spread. And if you think before we got to a low of about 100 basis points, that looks very ambitious now, but there's no reason with that political backdrop that actually the spread can't tighten.
I think it's really interesting. If you look at the spending plans, you look at the taxation plans, if they're able to pass them through Parliament, which in theory they can because they have a majority in both houses, that will be pretty dramatic. We're talking about tens of billions of euros they're going to have to come up with. As we've already talked about, you know, we're getting towards the end of this policy that Draghi has in terms of accommodation. It will get more expensive potentially for the Italian government to borrow to try and meet these obligations they're going to create. And interestingly, you've got Salvini in charge of the Interior Ministry and also Deputy Prime Minister, even when the government gets approved next week by Parliament. And then you've got Di Maio, head of 5 Star, going in as Minister for Labour and Economic Development. He'll be the one rolling out this universal basic income. That's going to be a logistical nightmare in a country like Italy where they don't have great record keeping, and it's also obviously going to end up being relatively expensive in terms of spending.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.